hurts today. Like I'm super sore. But this massage session helped a little bit, but not really. So I participated a little bit in the group with kids. So there's just only one girl, and she didn't have a pair, and well somehow she was just not coming back, and I offered to work with her. Quite a talented girl, by the way. So yeah, good warm up, but so I've been throwing like 5 pointers where it feels like right in my triceps. It's good to recover fully, but for boxing, it's also good to move. So really bad sound. What about now? I think there was an internet issue. Now I connected to Wi-Fi, so I hope it works. I don't know. But anyways, I was working with kids a little bit, worked as a good warm-up, but I'm super sore. Yeah, better now. It was a connection issue. I don't know, maybe I'm out of data because generally data works better, but they're limited. Man, maybe I spent all the gigabytes. Yeah, kids do. Oh, there is only one girl, and she was lonely on the bag. And I was like, you know what, let me work for, and with the coach's permission, I stood as her partner. We did combos, and that's the thing. She's actually quite good. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that sometimes girls are still. I rather they're like minority, or maybe coaches like. I'll be honest. I would switch. I would take one pair at least and switch in between. But that's okay. The point is, she got her partner as me, and I think she was quite excited and quite talented, by the way. Good footwork, all of that. So yeah, I use that as a little warm up. But after my strength training with Chris, man, that hurts. Still does. The massage didn't help. So I'm gonna try to warm up properly. You're 100% red. I don't know what the question means. I'm not gonna try to even answer that. Yeah, my triceps are sore quite a lot. Hello. Hi, everyone. I don't know. I guess I'll try to throw some combos, but like every time I throw the punch, even here as a shadow boxing, it is painful. I don't want to strain more than that. So I'm not sure about speed today, but definitely I'm gonna move it a little bit so I don't know, it gets more less sore hopefully tomorrow. You know how it works. You do resistance training. Uh, in my case, I did strength focus training together with my husband. He coached me on that one. It was good. It was brutal, but it was good. Though the the con of it is it takes few days to recover fully. But sometimes it's like a little bit too much, you got to do some other type of training, footwork, something, something else. And that's why it's good to add up some movement, even if it's not possible to do a proper. We do it again tomorrow. Yeah, like as I said, we're not stopping here. So you can look at it like that you don't give it a time for full recovery, because full recovery might take 45 days at times. Hey, it's Lily Tapuri. Apparently, I'm Lily Tapuri now. Anyway, so yeah, let's do. I'm ready to do. You know what? I'm ready to do combos as a request. And as I said, I'm sore now. Even while shadow boxing, it feels quite a lot, but I think I need just to open up a little bit. Yeah, my husband liked your joke. 45. Whew. All right. My legs are okay though. There's kids class, by the way. Just take a look. Take a look. What's my favorite submission move? I'm asking a boxer. Jokes aside. I think armbar, guillotine, and rear naked choke. Those three. Well, I think it's a green flag when mixed martial art gyms have kids classes, and usually they're full of kids. Even though they're loud, but they're precious, and you gotta let kids do the training from the very young age. All kids for sale, for adoption, guys. Oh, bum, bum, bum. Perfect. I don't feel perfect. My triceps are super sore after a landmine push. So we were doing a landmine push for the strength, and yeah, still recovering. It's the second day. No, it's actually, well, we had the day before yesterday, then full day yesterday, and today it's even more sore. Hi, good to see you guys. It's impossible. Oh, yeah, I can be slow. I'm from Ukraine. Hi from Vietnam. I'm Georgian, but I'm from Vietnam. I don't think I can beat anyone up and like being that sore. As I said, for people who watch me now, I came here to just move a little bit, and I'll do some combos, shadow boxing, but it hurts as motherfucker. Hi to Antarctica. Hi to Antarctica from Vietnam. Okay, kids just being funny, hilarious. Boom. Hi, and how are you doing? I'm doing okay. I'm just trying to warm up my triceps after the strength training the day before yesterday. Was a good rough training, and then now I'm still sore. Oops, careful. Boom. Are you a boxer or MMA? Boxer. Jeff, yeah, never forget about Jeff. Hi, Jeff hurts. Ouch. Side step. Uh, I have a husband and he's here in the chat. Please don't spam, okay? I'm gonna time out everyone who spams. Thank you. Okay, feel free to ask questions and feel free to give me some combos that I do, and I break the lactic acid in my muscles because that hurts. But it's good. I mean, that day today, it's better to move today a little bit. So tomorrow I'm ready for another similar session, which, well, I guess it is adaptational period. When you do quite a heavy resistance training for the purpose of gaining strength, that's what happens. Sorry for 2-3 days because they're playing football here, so I just got the ball. Here we are. Well, if those kids stick around, they're gonna be good kids. Look at this. That's fun. So that's how you do the kids classes. After training, teaching them some combos, some movements, then you just play with them and just take all of their energy so that their parents can rest a little bit at home. And you do spinning back kick. I can do the movement. Let me try. Like, oh, let me do slowly. Pump. Something like this. Yeah. Again, I'm boxer. I'm not a kickboxer. I just used to do some karate before moving to boxing. So I'm just, I remember kind of how to do it. Keep them hands up all the time. Ideally, yes, you would want, especially if you're a shorter boxer and you want to keep you better keep your guard up, like, but also use your hands for defense, for protection, all that kind of stuff. So wholesome. Yeah. Okay, gotta catch the ball every now and then. I love it. I love their mom is like, okay, please stop, like, let's go home. But kids are like, no, we're not leaving. But it's good because if they don't want to leave a gym, I hope they grow up that way. Conor McGregor stuff. Yeah, I guess it is. As I said, I'm not a kickboxer, so all the kicks I do, I know how to do high kicks, for example, bum, like something like this. But again, that's just back from karate. I can watch this all day. Well, good for me, I guess. Appreciate you being here. Okay, show us 1-2 draw back, left hook, heavy, weavy left, right hook, left uppercut, 2 left hook. Hold up. Let me just do 1, 2, 3. I mean, weavy, like I would do like 1, 2, 3, like while drawing back, then weave, and then another hook, for example. Hook, bump, uppercut. Yeah. 2 left hooks. Okay, so something like bump, 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 bump. But again, 1, 2. When you do 2 left hooks, like just the speedy ones, obviously you can do. I prefer jab hook, like bump, bump, that just goes well. Obviously, it can be 2 hooks, but there are also certain combinations that are generally better structured, and there are combos that are more out of the not conventional, so-called, because there are certain patterns in boxing, and you don't want just to throw beautiful, like, bum, bum, Impro is good, but there are certain combos that work better. Ilia Topuria versus Arman or Islam, which is the best? I mean, Topuria, I think, wins against Arman, but Arman, in the lightweight, he might give the hardest like fight to Ilia. I still think Ilia wins in lightweight against Arman. Well, against Islam in the welterweight, which seems like most likely that if that fight happens in welterweight. Which I hope that it would be a catchweight at least. That would be more reasonable. But I don't know if Ilia pulls it off. I think Islam has better chances in welterweight against Topuria, but it's still like a 60-40. I would still give quite high chances to Ilia, but giving an advantage to Islam in welterweight. So. What is the technique to punch so don't break your wrist, please? I mean, well, that's the thing. It's interesting because in the gloves, you don't have fists fully like tense up until the point that you lock it in fully before punching. So in reality, you have like them something like this, just uh, pretty much relaxed but closed. Because in a boxing glove, like you can't open them anyway. So right, so the glove is shaped the way that you can keep them here. But this is when you punch. It's like boom, boom. This is when they automatically lock. It's not something you focus on. It's just you need to relax from the beginning, and it's kind of automatic because okay, you can just throw light tipping, and in that case, within the glove, you might not lock it fully, but when you punch hard, it's kind of natural that you would do bum bum bum. It's gonna close it off, like close up automatically. If it doesn't, then go a little bit slower, just relax, and just when you decide to punch on the back, like boom, this is where you kind of lock it up. Because if you punch hard with a relaxed fist, despite the wraps and all and the gloves protecting your wrist, you're gonna hurt it. So basically, that's the way. At least this is the way how I was practicing. Yeah, Ilya 100% has to fight Arman, in my opinion as well. And I'm Georgian. I support Ilya, but I'm not gonna be like when it comes to an actual performance, I'm not gonna be biased. That's why I'm trying to be fair in my opinions. It's going well. Appreciate you. Hi everyone. When you pull jab and okay, when you pull the hook back, pull it like a jab, then hook again, and probably roll under after that. So again, we have when you pull the hook. Okay, we did hook, pull, like pull towards you, pull like it depends what you do. Pull it like a jab. Okay, the hook again. You mean like pump, pump? But that's the thing. To me, it's kind of a waste of momentum. Like if you're doing hook, you can do while you're like moving on the side. You can do pump, pump, kind of like tapping. If you really want to do hard hook, double hook, you kind of need you pump and then at least move another time or something because you need to give that another hook and momentum, right? So it will be like hard one, something like that. I'm just telling you. Obviously, you can practice, but I'm more like a jab person. Jabs are more straightforward. They're like pump, 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 pump. Jabs have to be super repetitive, and that needs to be trained. And you can also do jab, hook, jab, and it's kind of momentum-wise, it's better because you go jab and you can go hook, but you can go back straightly and again bounce another jab. So you do like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, something like this. Arman by decision or Ilya by knockout? I mean, well, that's the thing. Arman ends up in the very often somehow he ends up in the guillotine position, which like what is his latest fight? It was Charles almost got caught on the guillotine. With Hooker, Hooker doesn't know how to wrestle really, but in that position, yes, we see him he rotated well, but with Ilya, that's not gonna pull off. If he's gonna get caught, he's most likely gonna be choked out by Ilya as well. Ilya in welterweight is way smaller. Yeah, and even if he somehow he actually makes that historical win against Islam, no way Ilya can stay at the welterweight. He's just not a welterweight. Like, can you imagine him fighting Morales? That is going to be a future champion, almost 100%. Like, he's almost, even for Islam, Morales is the genuine threat. Not because of the skill. And unlike Ilya, Morales is just big guy who has tremendous power and knows how to wrestle and knows the judo. I think that's physically like Islam comparing to him gonna be small, but imagine Ilya and Morales, like that's gonna be like two different weight classes. How would you throw the jab, uppercut, and lead hook? Okay, so I would throw it that way. I would throw jab, slight lean. It doesn't have to be. I mean, depends. I can sleep under a little bit deeper, go uppercut, or I can just bump, just cover myself. Short uppercut, same position, kind of like again. It's gonna be faster, like bump, bump, bump. So you see, I need to kind of recoup there. Otherwise, it's not gonna have that much of the momentum. If we're doing it with the front hand, so it's gonna be bump, bump, bump. Or if I do like it sleeps, I would do palm, palm, one, and here like I would not sleep again. I would just like try to follow up almost immediately. But as you see, even naturally, you kind of need that to create momentum. You need to shift back again, and then slow punch again. How would you so? Okay, I'll be there. Yeah, exactly. Ilya versus Morales. Morales is gigantic. Difference between hook and jab. Both, yeah, here. So jab is a straight punch, and then its amplitude and direction goes from chin to, but sometimes from the chest. But it depends on the boxer. If you're a taller boxer, you can box like this if you want. But when you're a shorter boxer, you're gonna try to learn how to in punching up. So this is jab, and the hook is you open it up it slightly and throw it from the side. So it is meant to land like a slap, like you would slap a person, just not that open, right? People, I mean, there's some boxers that are just like super long reach, and well, they manage. They just have the super open punches. But for me, I prefer it like boom, middle range, because that is the most optimal range for me. Islam, it makes sense. He has the size. I don't think Ilya can make up for his size with technique. The only way for Ilya would be, and that's gonna take a lot of time. So we have small welterweights. It's not like welterweight. Like, is GSP a little bit? I mean, I think GSP is height-wise somewhere between Islam and Ilya. So GSP, for example, he was not the tall welterweight, but he's the GOAT, right? Super athletic. But I also remember the muscle mass and the athleticism he has. So here is the thing: Ilya would have to stack up the muscle mass, resistant training, hypertrophy, strength combined, so he grows, and not just a little bit, just to pass the weight. No, way above the welterweight. Meaning, what is welterweight? 170. But he would to go naturally to be able, at least with quite shredded, with low fat percentage, be able to maybe be like 180, 185 at least. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not, and it's a big, with glycogen, with water, with low fat percentage, that's quite a lot of muscles. Like, it doesn't happen in 1 or 2 months. It's gonna take long, at least 6 months and more. You will have to stack up the weight. I mean, there are clean ways and dirty ways to do it. You know how it works. With a dirty way, meaning doping, it's gonna go faster if you cycle in, cycle out. Obviously, if you do as Makhachev is a creatine, yeah, he stacked it up muscle way too fast. But okay, whatever. Anyways, it takes the longer time, one way or another. It doesn't happen too fast. Uh, so, and then when he would have to do water cut, because when you do water cut, what that water comes from? Mostly muscles. So then he would be able, so in 24, within the 24 or 48 hours, he would stock up that weight back and be able to have that muscle mass when he's there. But you know, people, when fighters pass away, they regain the weight. And that's why you sometimes you look and you don't believe like the size difference when you have a weight bull in a weight class and someone who's smaller for the weight class. That's the only chance for Ilya to be able to bring his skills up there. Because when you have the muscle map stuck up, and when you trained it, you adapted your movement, your skills to it, then like trained muscle doesn't make you heavier, sloppier. If you train it right, if you go through the right body recomposition, it can be quite advantageous. It can give you quite an advantage. But you hear the point. It's not that simple and that easy and that fast, and it takes quite a lot of, which I think, I mean, his team might have that expertise and everything, and the resources, but it's still not that easy and simple. So you know what I mean? You would have to go through all the process to increase his efficiency as much as possible, according like his natural, comparing to his natural weight, natural. I mean, he carries quite a heavy weight naturally. Obviously, he cuts a lot for the lightweight, but he's coming from featherweight, lightweight, and lightweight seems to be his optimal competitive weight class. In the welterweight, he would have to go through another quite tough body recomposition, and even there, again, still it still would be 50-50 at the best. Okay, and keep scrolling up. Sorry. Well, I'm looking forward to compete in the near future, but in boxing. Okay, hook and jab and cross. So, hook, jab, cross. So it will be okay. Let's try to pump, pump, pump. But again, this is like pump, pump, pump. I would kind of do opposite. I would do like 1, 2, and end up with a hook, because those combinations. This is like a short. You would do like 1, 2, and if they come on you, you can just end up hook, or you can go 1, 2, try to shorten the reach with the 1, 2, and then land that hook. So both ways it works. You go 1, 2, pump, or like 1, 2, pump. So you see, same combo can be executed both ways. It's cold there. Well, it's cool today, but it's Vietnam, so it's not really cold. The cross is okay. Please don't spam. I'm gonna time you out. Hold up. Time out. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Thank you very much. You're a bantamweight, lightweight. No, I would be strawweight at the best. And in boxing, looking down all the way down to the minimal weight, which is like a 48 kgs. I've been practicing switch punches. For example, I throw a jab in orthodox, then switch cross into the southpaw. Is it effective? That's your opinion. Well, I've been practicing that too. So I was like, I would go. It's hard to do from the longer range unless you are like a longer range, like a Gabriela Fandora type of boxer for the weight class, meaning like a super long range. Because when you have super long reach, maybe except the close distance, unless you really learn, you can do everything you want. You can just manipulate range the way you want. But if you're a shorter boxer, um, just 1 second. I'm doing well, thank you. So yeah, jab, the switch then. Sorry, I just like forgot for a second what we were talking about. So I would do that from the middle range already when we're like kind of here trying to play a little bit of catch boxing. They're pressuring them just with my, like, pushing on them with my footwork by pushing the distance. And I would just rather punch let's say jab, but all of this, usually people do a jab, the jab cross, that it will be something like that. But after that jab, immediately pushing forward the right hand. So it's not like cross, switch. No, I would do like one jab, jab. I already switched my legs here, bump, bump, and then left cross goes quite naturally. Even though my right jab is not the best, because I'm not naturally a southpaw. I really need to train. Um, Something that I noticed is my left cross, however, feels quite natural. So why wouldn't I use it? I don't have to punch like I would do like bump. I can just extend that hand, just push them, push against their, especially if they're close, push against the gloves, and boom, punch, or like boom. When you fight, you shouldn't put in life. Of course, yes, I'll do that, 100%. Yeah, that's true. Okay, another pump, 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 pump person. I'm timing you out. Okay, no offense, but please let's not spam. Try for shadow boxing. What's that specific combo? Like pump, 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 and like still hurting after the resistance training. No, I'm 19. He's 65 kg, 5'11". Should I start boxing or wrestling for against bullies? Uh, Start both. For the self-defense, I think boxing is quite good. Because most of the fights start and end with just 1-2 punches. But ideally, you would want to train both, because boxing gonna teach you speed, agility, timing, when wrestling is gonna develop your strengths or even muscle mass. Like Greco-Roman wrestling is amazing for the body development. Is this an MMA gym? Yes, it is. Try using your left as your jab. You switch stances. Well, this is my left, by the way. So my tattooed arm is my left arm, but front camera flips the picture. So this is the orthodox, and then I switch to the southpaw, and you see even here, it works against the southpaws because they're used to moving that direction, the right direction. So they're gonna move right, meaning they're gonna try to move against your left, right? So they're gonna go like this. Well, when you all of a sudden you switch for the southpaw and then you throw left cross, that actually is something that is confusing for them, as I noticed. I'm definitely a shorter fighter, 5'5". My boxing is okay. I do more Muay Thai now, and everyone in my gym is taller. I have to rely on being a pressure fighter to get in the pocket. What's your opinion? That's an absolutely legit and logical and practical approach. But you also can get better. Like what people think is that, oh, shorties can just be pressurers. Yes, I mean pressure is our main advantage, because if we are in that range, for the long armed people, it becomes difficult. But who said we cannot be we can have a good footwork? And your footwork is like, long people do this, pump, 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 pump. They, like the best boxers, they're tall with a long reach. They know this 1-2 moving on the sides kind of thing very well. They have a good distance control, but it's enough to just pressure them, get a couple punches on your head, move a little bit your body. Don't have to do peekaboo, but like just move your body, bump, bump, and you get in. And from there, once you're closer, like between close and the middle range, ideally close to you that you can even touch the body, just move. Like things like bump, bump, bump. So it would be like throwing bump, like a slipping jab, slipping cross, those are very sneaky punches for them. A lot of taller boxers, especially when you do that. Okay, when you do that from the center to the ring to the edge, ring is not that big, right? So you press them a little bit against the ropes and you do pom pom. One of those lands. That jab might not land first, but you set it up your overhead or cross. I prefer cross. And from here, instead of just keep punching like this, I just switch, boom, right into the face. So as the shorter boxers, the matter shifts are very good to practice. And that works the best in the middle and the close range. Okay, another pump, 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 pump. I'm timing out you for 5 minutes, please. Just don't spam, guys. I don't have problem with pump pump sound. Write it once, but don't spam, please. How tall are you? I'm 161 or 5'2". I have a less power in left hand. How can I improve it? Like everyone else, you start from here. You get on the back. I'm not gonna put on the gloves right now, but you basically, like, if you see a pro boxers, what they do, even the elite ones, they go back to basics. They always master single punches, and when you throw that, focus on jab and learn how to use your hip. First, you can do full range, 1, 2, with depending if you're a shorter boxer, just get used to slightly sleeping. Bump, bump, slightly sleeping from the beginning. You stop, then at stomach bump. And power-wise, just learn how to do like bump, throw it faster, create an explosive momentum, and then it's gonna get better if you practice. But it's gonna have to be repetitive. You just need to keep doing and doing and doing. Are you backing? It's an official, unofficial MMA record. I don't have MMA record. I have official amateur record 5 fights. That which is not much for amateur, but this is how it was back then in Georgia when there was not many of us girls, and we did a lot of open ring, non-official fights, which haven't been recorded. Unfortunately, I wasn't that smart to at least record it for myself. You know what I mean? So, and it's been like 10 years ago. So now I'm training gradually. Everything: strength, endurance, technique, all that kind of stuff. Saturday, if the if another storm doesn't happen here in Vietnam, Nha Trang, gonna go for sparrings and talk to boxing coach here. It's very, very good boxing coach, and we're gonna work a little bit together as well to make me better. Man, will you please start boxing classes live for the beginners? Yeah, why not? I'll think how to do it. I mean, I have a membership, but I can kind of start including into the memberships, which are like going to be monthly memberships, and people can get like I don't know, once a week live only for members for boxing classes. So I don't know, maybe that is a good way to do it. I'll think about it. I used to do splits and never again. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Okay. I'm just removing from the channel. Did you win any fights? And in my amateur record, I had 3 won fights and 2 lost, and those 2 I lost to second number and I think third number to a Russian national team back then. We were in this competition in Makhachkala, Dagestan. There was like a boxing competition, and I had the sparring sessions. They didn't let me fight officially like on the competition, but they let me do the kind of official sparrings. They wrote it down, and I lost to way more experienced and better boxer at that time. And one of the 3 wins is from national champions, but then open rings again. Some I won, some I lost. I don't even remember. It's like funny enough, but it's been such a long time ago. I hardly remember. Okay, jab, cross, hook, cross, jab, cross, hook, cross. That's a good combo. That's a legit pa 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 pa. I think those kind of combos, like when you throw 4 to 6 punches and like more than that, it's like when you when let's say some punches of yours landed in, your opponent is like wobbling, and this is where you go like 1, 2, 3, bum 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 bum. So you just keep farming them, but also in the right pace. Otherwise, I think 2, 3, 4 punches at the maximum, and like single punches, check punches, then boom, boom, then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Like more than that is just gonna get you exhausted. What's the deal with the jump rope? I do jump ropes. Maybe that's some one thing I should do now because I'm hardly. I'm trying to open my arms up after the physical training. They hurt, but yeah, I'm just doing a little, throwing my hands a little bit. I can, how to do jumping jack, basically like this. It's like when you hop out, close arms, or is it opposite? Hold up. I think you can do both ways. I don't know. I do when I open up, I close my hands. When I put my legs together, I drop my arms. Okay, keep scrolling up. Okay, please don't spam. I already did the jumping jack, so Muhammad Ali is my inspiration. Like a lot of people's inspiration is definitely legend. I'm from Georgia, that's right. Georgia, I'm Ilia Taptura then. You don't believe I'm Georgian? Do you want me to start talking Georgian? But you're not gonna even understand it, so I don't know. Cool. So I think we can just keep doing combos. Nothing interesting today. I'm even hardly, as I said, I'm hardly extending my hands. When I try to go it faster, my triceps, both of my triceps is hurt. So I'm just keeping it very light. It's your first time. Well, welcome then. You're a boxing coach. Yeah, I done a little bit of coaching. I do personal training, so I work apart from boxing. I work with physical conditioning, strength, hypertrophy, but also trauma prevention. So I work with the clients, with people who are in the different age groups and different categories, like from the amateur to someone who wants to actually achieve certain goals in sports and performance. And I also do that live on my YouTube. Lee is afraid of Arman. Oh, we shall see. They have to fight. I mean, I agree that Ilya has to fight Arman. If he doesn't fight him, it's funny because if he just goes up and let's say beats Islam without even fighting Arman in the light world, then it's like kind of okay. But I agree that since he's a lightweight champion currently, you can't just sit on the thing. Okay, they might put Patty against him first just because of the show and the rivalry arc and entertainment. Okay, I'm getting that. Though he's not number one contender. Patty moving up on the pound for pound 5 after beating Tony Ferguson with CPE and Michael Chandler, who is just, I mean, being beaten. All top 5 have beaten him up. I don't know, like him moving to top 5 is a little bit too over exaggerated. So Arman is definitely number one contender, especially okay after beating Hooker. He deserved that. He deserved after bailing on the rematch with Islam for whatever reason. He deserved uh, kind of be punished to have a one more fight with someone else, but he won. So I see the logically will be I think Patty maybe Gagey, but Gagey, I think it was supposed to be Gagey, but now it's like just they think that it's not very interesting. So rather Paddy, and then it has to be Armand before he moves up or does anything with upper weight class. How can I improve my dodges as a beginner? Well, first you need to learn how to do flips and weaves or rolls. Okay, so with the punches, you can learn how to. You can also learn it while throwing punches, but that is again, I said for the shorter boxer that works better. When you just do the sleep, for example, you would do 1, 2. I will pull this hand conventionally and sleep. I'm sitting on the back like so, like I would go back while throwing jab. This is kind of the same movement I do. Instead of throwing punch, I just shield myself with the shoulder. So I kind of put my shoulder here, so I potentially get punched through above the shoulder or on the shoulder. So it's like boom. And obviously, you would want to have your glove here, so it's like boom, for example. So it's like 1, 2, pull. So again, look at you can do that in front of mirror and you just like boom. But you see what I'm doing? I'm not just moving my body like this. You can do that if you're doing peekaboo, but it's very energy consuming. It's better to learn how to use your legs to do it. And obviously, don't try to go uh, like too fast because you want to learn how to get up, boom, boom. Because you want to come back to the punchline with your head. Unless you can just sleep and roll, but that's another story. You might do like 1, 2, couple sleeps, and then you want to go like on the offense. Obviously, the rolls you kind of learn how to turn off your legs and kind of drop, up, drop, and roll to under the punch that be thrown towards you. So rolls go under against the hook. So that if hooks comes here, I roll under. So it's like boom, boom. And I'm not going too low. Try to avoid this. It might be convenient for some Philly shell, but I'm not a fan of the Philly shell. At least, I mean, I'm not really good at executing it, so that's why probably I'm not the fan for myself. I'm not saying that Philly shell is a bad style. I'm just saying that's not what I do. So, and again, you can combine, like for example, 1, 2, sleep, and in this case, I want to whip, roll, maybe get closer, just change the angle, and you can go hook, hook, something like that, and keep scrolling up. Okay, and keep scrolling up, reading some stuff. Do you like to practice with Philly shell? I'll try to practice it in the sparrings more and see if it even works for me. But and not really, because with the Philly shell, I mean, Mayweather does it perfectly. He knows the timing, and he also know he's very good together with the Philly shell. He's very good at doing the side step. So he knows how to escape after he would do like 1, 2, 3, and then he would like straight up move out from the ropes. Unless you do that, and you really capitalize on the defensive style, like basically countering, kind of waving all these punches again, countering again, then yeah, I don't see the point of the finisher for me as a shorter boxer. I would want to go in and obviously have my defensive elements, so I don't really get that much damage while going in and finding the openings and gaps. And as I said, the most efficient is boom, boom, like shift around the person um, in the middle distance. I work the body's beat with a lever shot, then open up your defense. The catcher was the clean left hook rookie. That's a very good one. Yes, that's how you do it, and that's not a secret. It's one of the most efficient ways. And what you can do as the more powerful boxer in the weight class, what Canelo does, what for example you went to the stomach, then again let's say they protect well. Well, punch their arms every now and then, punch their shoulders. It's not prohibited at least at this point, and you just exhaust them. You're like, okay. So most of the I don't think a lot of boxers do that. I think Rocky Marciano was doing that, and since then, Canelo Alvarez. There are not that many boxers I noticed that intentionally work on opponents' shoulders and arms. But if you think about it, it just damages the muscle fibers, that amount of the power, and it just makes your arm drop too. So even if things don't go clean, that's okay. Work or to get to the stomach, get here, or like one, or like it can be punched to here again, another one to the head. And you fight with a man. I sparred with a lot of men, and I'm very grateful for them helping me getting better, growing as a boxer, learning a better boxing, and obviously them doing they're moderating their power and speed to help me to get better. But I never fought a man, and I'm not looking forward to. I'm not planning to, especially the guys that we're friendly with in the gym. They're basically friends. Around 10 years, amateur boxing, then retired, and then this year, from the beginning this year, went back to boxing, decided to um, prepare for going pro. It's not dominated GDM, that's true, including in the stance. Movement is semi-correct, punches are way too wide, power comes from the legs and back. Yes, I'm fully aware about the legs and back, and that's the thing. People think that, well, you might be able to do 1-2, like a full rotation, but let's be honest, in a real fight, you throw like boom, you throw, especially at the lighter weight, you're gonna have a speed match. Like faster you are. So as a boxer, you practice the full range in the trainings. You have you commit certain time to it, but then you are like, well, I'm not very fast today, also due to my clogged up triceps after my strength training. So sorry for that. But in the other way, and saying the punches are too wide, my punches are not really wide because I'm an actual shorter boxer. Like wide punches are like boom, boom, boom. Like, have you seen uh, Bevo? Have you seen him doing this? Boom, 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 boom. Like this is the wide punches. This is not really wide punches. And well, they're both styles. They exist, and there are different people who execute the different ones better. There is nothing wrong with that. And also, again, I'm not comparing myself to Ali. There's like no way I do that. But Muhammad Ali was considered to be completely wrong in his style. Like the coaches of that period were like, "What the hell is he doing?" But then he put a milestone to an evolution to of the heavyweights boxing, not only heavyweights boxing. It's swelling up, guys. True, heating up so it gets forgotten. Well, I mean, I haven't done that much either. That's why it's good to watch fights, documentaries, because I was like the other day, I was like, not the other day, but like about the Canelo, when I started rewatching his fights, I was like, that's interesting. And then I kind of like researched it, and some other coaches and people were explaining that, yeah, that works. And I was like, okay, let me try it. So the thing is, I'm definitely gonna try it once I'm doing more of the sparring, even the technical sparring. So it's just to see, because you don't want to damage, like in the technical smart sparring, you're not trying to damage your opponent, but at the same time, stomach and arms, hit harder. If you want to replicate a little bit of the pace and the power you would throw, you don't have to throw with the same power to the face and to the head. I mean, because well, you want to avoid CT, right? You don't want to be too much into the CT stuff, right? So actually, let me just move over here. I think that is even better. It's a better light. I'm a little bit useless today anyway, so I'm not gonna interfere with the class. But anyways, speaking of the thing, yeah, I mean, that's one thing I'm really looking forward to try. Throwing the punches, hard punch to the shoulder, and actually see how it affects the opponent. When they drop, how they drop, and what kind of openings you're gonna leave. Okay. Your boy's stalking Arman. What now? I think they're gonna fight. I think they will. So keep talking until it's really known. Unless, well, rather Ilya beats Arman, which I think if they fight, Ilya beats Arman. Uh, Arman does certain stuff that I think, and Ilya might even choke him out. Not even the knockout, but gonna be able to catch him on the guillotine, because Arman literally puts his head in. If you see some of his fights, like he does that very often. But yeah, but if he doesn't fight Arman, I'll be honest. I'll say, okay, well, I don't know what he's doing. I think it's not smart. It's good to beat Arman first and then think about trying to go after Islam. Okay, keep scrolling up. Like Alexa Grasso. This is cool. Ilya is Georgian too, right? By the roots, yes, and he speaks fluent Georgian. He's not just a broken Georgian like Georgian, but they don't know the language. He and his brother speak. Let's go. They're having a hard training up there. Anyway, just saying that both Chapuria speak a fluent, plain Georgian, considering that but they lived also. They lived in Georgia since Ilya was like 7 or 8 to 15. For that period, they actually lived in Georgia, and then they moved to Spain. Ilya himself was born in Germany, so again, from Germany moved to Georgia, lived a little bit for a few years in Georgia, and then went to Spain. This is right up my niche. Welcome. I'm in Vietnam, by the way, but it was Russian. It's the gym owners is Ukrainian and Russian, and there is a group upstairs. I think it's a BJJ or kickboxing group. I'm not sure. And he was just motivating his students. I think they were just doing some tough training. Where you at? In the Chang Sport Tonight gym. What are you doing in Vietnam? Me and my husband, for now we live here. It's our part-time base. And training as well. Okay, I'm not going to turn it on and show you how to generate power. Smart move, but obviously you use your hips, boom. It's also, if you try to punch bum up like from here, it's not going to be as powerful as the shortest straight line you can generate. Shortest straight line. I'm aiming up because I'm usually always a shorter boxer, so it's good to get used to throwing punches the way you need to, considering your weight class and your parameters and stuff like that. Good tattoo. Thank you. Yeah, how to generate power through your hips, but not only hips, through your feet as well. So if you do 1, 2, 1, to training this movement for everyone. Uh, doesn't matter if you're a professional or amateur. You want to practice full hip rotation. Obviously, you use your feet as well. You position your feet. You rotate your feet. When you throw the cross, knee goes in, stable position, and I'm fully standing on my toes. And through that movement, you try on the heavy bag. You learn how to throw, bum, bum, harder punches, and then you learn boom, boom, throw, punch, like 1, 2, and then obviously you can practice like 2, 3, 4 punches, like a clean ones, and then gradually. Sometimes you do burnout with the extended arms, like you do like a 1, 2, 3, not just the short ones, but like getting used to throwing your punches. Oh, sorry. Extend them fully. I'm not Vietnamese. Do I look Vietnamese? I don't. But Vietnamese girls are adorable. Hey, listen, can you break down the code of Elias Power Punch if possible? I think he trains a solid strength training program separately. And Topurias are known for training not only different aspects separately, but even sports like wrestling, they train separately, BJJ separately, boxing separately. That's why they're so clean and good in different techniques. And I assume that so strength-wise, he does the classic protocol, which is like less than 5 repetitions, ending up sucking up weight. Like he thinks like I've seen him doing like land mile push. I did it the day before yesterday myself in a live stream. My husband was training. I also want to be strong and powerful puncher. But before creating power is you create power through velocity. So velocity is the speed that you generate, obviously using the right technique, and then you create power. And that's what you do on the heavy bag to have a better potential for the better power, you gotta try to do um, strength training separately. Obviously, it's resistance training with the weights, uh, things like pull-ups, dips, landmines, squats. You can do through machines as well, but I suggest you at least like free weights and functional movements have a better neural response. They trigger your neural response more than if you just do on the machine. But at some point when you go that heavy, which means when you can do 5, 6 repetitions, you drop to 2, 3. So by adding up weight, this is very close to your 1 rep max. And then obviously, and over time, obviously you do that training, you rest longer in between the sets, 10, 15 minutes. I'm not saying they're doing that exactly, that's what I'm doing, but then you repeat it. It's obvious from week to week to maybe daily, because at some point you get used to it, and strength doesn't work exactly as a hypertrophy. For hypertrophy, you trigger a muscle, you get yourself to the muscle failure state, you like just get a lot of micro injury, like micro traumas, and then you recover and you do it again. Also by adding up weight and having being in the range of 6, 7, 8 to 12 repetitions, like that range. This is just how the training protocols and the science backing it off work. If you want to work strength, you don't want to jerk off weight. If you want to do repetitions, do everything related to the doing this movement. There's no point like this movement. Not really. You can do it if you want, but if you want to make extra smart training as possible, everything that is related to repetition, obviously you can do resistance bands. You can have, I think better be of doing that training. You have the band and kettlebell hanging on it, doing uppercuts like that, no problem. That's good for endurance. And for the power, for the strength development, you do less than 5 repetitions with the weights. Certain like exercises that generally target your entire body and all the major muscle groups. Yeah, my husband is in the chat and he asks you to behave. the head. Understand a little. Thanks. No problem. When throwing right, do you rotate the hips until the limit it locks full, or do you limit hip rotation until turning the hip straight? But here is the thing: when you train at the gym, you want to learn how to do, or at least when you learn how to throw power 1, 2, you practice that like separately. Some days you focus on that specific training and you use the full rotation technique. Obviously, full rotation means it stops. I mean, it's enough to keep your hip on the straight line. Once it gets evens out here, it's enough. Like you don't have to, or maybe a little bit forward. It also helps you to increase. You see, it increases the range a little bit. So like, boom, you see. So obviously, but shouldn't do that on the cost of your to lose balance. But here is the thing: you practice it that way, and you teach yourself how to throw one, boom, straight crosses, or at like 1, 2, like with the full rotation. But when you have 2, 3 punches, well, you might have super fast punches that you don't really fully rotate hip, and you're in the closer or middle range that you don't really need to rotate here because this is your range and that's enough, and you just give a little torque. But because you learn the whole movement over time, you actually learn to do give it a little torque, and therefore, even when it's just fast 3 punchers, it's might be a little bit less powerful. But it's boxing. Boxing is not only about hard punches, especially in the lighter weight classes. In the heavier weights, yes, it's like 1, 2 full rotation is like a more of this thing. But in the lighter weights, boxing is a little bit different. You like from points, 2, 3 punchers to confuse your opponent. It's still damaging. It still has an accumulative impact. And then you change. You don't do only 1, 2, 3, obviously. At some point, you're like 1, 2. You find the momentum, you do the full range combo, like 1, 2. Counters are good like this. You do like, they come on you, it's like you jab them off and then boom, like meet them on the cross and then kind of step away, for example. But when you're in a closer range, you don't need to full extent. You're already close enough to do boom, boom, like a shoulder punch, something like this. You know what I mean? You would do like bum, bum, for example, stomach and harder punches. So you switch from faster and more energy preserving combos to finding the gaps, bomb, and leaving the real impact. So both have its place in boxing. To be the best way to get good at footwork, well, first you establish the stance. First you learn this basic like a rotation and stuff. Okay? And obviously with punches. But then you learn how to throw jab. Yeah, I still make a step with rotation, then I step in a little bit. It's a little bit, it's like a few inches, not longer than that. You gotta realize that that's not that much, that often in actual boxing that you need to run away or jump in too much. If you do everything correctly, you just need some, like, not very big steps to retreat from the position to position. Obviously, you train forward, backwards first, that movement, moving forward, stepping backwards. Then you can do on the side, and then you improvise. You can go diagonally and mix all of it up. It's Vietnam, guys. It's Vietnamese people. I subscribed. Appreciate you. Thank you. A hand guard over or under eyes? I heard under is better to not block views. It's a good point, but it also depends what is my opponent's height. If my opponent is like this height, slightly taller than me, I can keep it here. It's fine. But if they're this tall, I actually want to keep it like this because they most likely not gonna even go on stomach. Most of the tall boxers way taller than you, then they're gonna come like just try to target your head. For them, it's too much of the leaning to go in, and even if they manage to do that or decide to do it, it's actually good for you that because they're finally are positioning themselves lower. So longer, like way taller boxers would try to keep you on the distance, and their range will be, they wouldn't punch here, they would punch here because they already have to punch a little bit lower and quite comfortably position, like really position their hands loose. For you, you want to keep them here in this case because you can reflect them. I'm not saying close your eyes, keep them. That's the most optimal thing because you can do pump, pump, pump like this, but then you are like pump, pump because, well, again, height disparity. So that is kind of the part you need to understand that as well once you are facing your opponent. Can you quickly throw how to teach how to throw a hook? I'm trying to learn. Sure, I can show you how I do that. Again, difference between taller, shorter boxers. Taller boxers sometimes throw like a pump, long hook. And when you throw a long hook, this is the fixed position that is optimal. Pump. You still can do this, but when it's long enough, like a long range hook, usually you come on defense or like a gazelle hook, you position your fist this. And that's, again, I'm sharing my opinion and my comfort. Apart from that, when it comes to the middle range or close range, like here is the close range, for example. Here is the middle range. You see my position? It's not this. It's this. This is more optimal. This is faster. I still sometimes elbow might drop from this position, but again, you work on this on the training. You get used to throwing, not having elbows like this, but like keep them optimally, like in the close to the horizontal line. And again, same movement with the hips, like you would do 1, 2 on the feet, 1, 2. Same with the hook, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm not opening too much. What I do is basically just try to do. So the hook is like you kind of draw the half of the circle, right? But I don't have to open it too much. I am trying to still keep it as short as possible. One person even taught me super short hooks, which is basically you extend punch like this and then just like boom, boom. It's like a slap hooks. You just extend it a little bit and then you just change the direction. Can be super effective, but optimally it's like boom, boom. So here, you see, boom, and even there, I'm trying not to open. I'm trying to be close. If you're taller, obviously, you're gonna be more. You don't need that much your shoulders as an extra guard. I'm Southpaw myself. I find easier to use pendulum step. You would find the Soviet style. Okay, you gotta tell me what is a pendulum because there's some of the terms in English that I'm still not familiar. I've been learning both in Georgian and Russian, a lot of Georgian Russian terms. Like something in the Soviet style, you have something like this. So yeah, just let me. Maybe that's also called phantom step. So or ghost step. Maybe that's what you mean, pendulum. So just please specify and teach me, so I remember what is pendulum. Yeah, Soviet style is interesting, and yeah, for Southpaw, I mean, I'm not Southpaw, I'm Orthodox. It's just the camera is flipping the thing. So this is my left arm. So I'm Orthodox, right? So you would be like this, and well, what's the Southpaw is because you have a very clean how to say line, usually to draw land that left hook. And yeah, I mean, with the southpaws, we know that as an orthodox, you try to step opposite because they're gonna try to step. But also laying under here and catching them in the moment they move towards you, that is also an optimal thing. And maybe changing the stance and just to land that left cross, even if you're not natural southpaw. I found it quite useful a couple times. I tried it. I'm 5'2". You need so much water, girl. That's a good point. Let me just grab my water here. I'm just taking my water and my backpack. While having the class here, so I don't want to interfere. Okay, here we are. I'm back. Yeah, you got it. Okay, in Russian we would call it chulnok. Yeah, basically chulnok. The chulnok вперед, chulnok назад. Like, or in even in Georgian that we would say chulnoki. Like, a lot of Georgian terms would be same as the Russian Soviet terms. Okay, in and out of the straight punch. So basically, yeah, light bump. Yeah, I have not. I think I stood in and out. You step in the jab, and then as you step back straight. Yeah. AJ versus Jake Paul. I don't know. I thought it was a fraud, but then my husband said a very good point. Guys like Jake Paul, with like his surrounding, his environment, can be so deluded, like, and the environment and people surrounding him could support that delusion that he actually might believe that he can beat the AJ. And if it's not rigged, then I don't know, man. AJ destroys Paul. So we shall see. The lady version of Mike Tyson here. Ah, Picabo is amazing style. My favorite boxer, so it's a compliment. But so it takes a lot of work to get there. I would fight in pro boxing, not the UFC. AJ would be disowned by us Brits if he loses, and I wouldn't judge. Okay, if he like that's the thing. He has so much money. Like, what's the point? Привет. What's the point of the for him to agreeing to a rigged fight? I don't know. I don't understand. Привет. Let's go. Привет. Oh, okay. You look like a Black Widow from the movie Avengers. I've been told that. Lovely accent. Thank you. All Jake Paul's fights are rigged except the with the Tommy Fury where he got knocked out. That wasn't rigged. Triple G is my favorite. Yeah, he's amazing. By the way, he's I think he's nominated as the president of the World Boxing Federation. So we had IBA where the Kremlin was the president, and all this. It got separated now, and the World Boxing is the new amateur organization. I think a lot of Western countries are gonna fight there. So there's gonna be championships in the World Boxing. And obviously there is like an Olympic committee and Olympics. So yeah, Golovkin might be named as the federation president. Our prediction same as the Leon. If it goes past second round, that means it rigged. I mean, again, if the knockout comes at any point, then it's not rigged. Knockout is a knockout, right? But past the second round, no knockout. Yeah, we know that's rigged. Where are you from? I'm from Georgia, but currently in Vietnam. Good evening. Well, it's been great sharing and learning boxing with you, but I'm gonna do some work before my training at 7. Okay, yeah. Well, nice to have you, fellow boxers or people who practice boxing, and have a good training. Thanks for being here. And UK is one of the strongest boxing schools. The one thing that is a little bit off in UK, still a lot of gyms, same as Georgian, have a heavy sparring culture. Not like every now and then, but like almost every time. So not very healthy. But apart from that, obviously one of the strongest schools. Boxing actually originated in the United Kingdom. Please subscribe, share. Thank you. Appreciate it. Lift and carry someone from behind. I won't. My coach told me I have an excellent technique, but my stamina is trash. You're amazing. I appreciate it. Uh, your coach probably lied to you about the technique. I'm joking. You might have a great technique, but excellent technique is something that is like a super high elite. You might have a good technique, but technique is something that needs to keep evolving. So just remember that. Never stop on that one. But stamina is the more important than technique, because you might be a less technical boxer, but you have better endurance. You win the fight. You most likely win the fight. You need the endurance as the priority, because technique gonna keep getting better if you keep focusing on it. So right now, I suggest you to focus on stamina. Sparring makes good boxers. No, absolutely. Listen, I'm not gonna even rant about it. Look up Tony Jeffries. He's actually from UK. He's a Olympic medalist, and he's the multiple-time national champion in UK. Now he has a YouTube channel, and he teaches about boxing. He does the breakdowns on technique, everything, and he has a very good video about the both for amateur, for just for people who want to train for themselves, but also for preparational purposes, the right attitude and strategy towards boxing. The thing is, you don't really learn in heavy boxing. Your brain doesn't have time. It is too busy to work on the fight and flight. But what you learn what you learn through is the repetition. Even here today, and I like attitude regarding boxing in this gym. At 6 December, they have like an inner competition. So some people gonna box, some guys gonna box, and middleweights been training. Both Jack dudes, one was helping, another one was preparing. Well, the entire training, they didn't even have a freestyle sparring, not just playing. Oh, okay, you gotta do sparring, because it's just like people are like, oh, sparring is more entertaining. No, but if you really want to prepare, first of all, before going on the freestyle sparring, even the light one, it's about mastering certain things that might be optimal for you. Let's say you have short notice fight, and you're meeting someone taller, like in that guy's case, he's like a shorter middleweight. Well, they've been practicing this one combo. He would get aggressively, like I've been explaining. He would like get in, and from this time, like when he whipped to the left side, he would go hook to the stomach, palm, palm, heavy, like 1, 2, 3. This is the only thing they worked the entire training. Slightly changing it, because that's what he would have to do most of the time to actually have a better chances to win that fight. And then the other day they did sparring, but what they would do, they would go heavy core, arms. Actually, I mean, a lot of boxers don't do that in a fight, but in a training, it's kind of like heavier here. It's very close to the face, and in the face, not with that strength. You know what I mean? No CTE, like no closer steps to CTE in the potential brain damage, because you need to look at the research and the science behind it. Unfortunately, even mild punches, they shake your brain in your skull. And the more you do that, the more you expose to yourself to. I'm not saying it's going to happen 1 or 2 times if you do that, or even if you have like a preparation, but you want to preserve yourself from literally getting your head off every time you spar, like it happens in Georgian and old school boxing cultures. Comparing to, do technical, actually be able to learn to execute certain combos and certain elements that just going to help you to box properly. Also work on your endurance, pace and stuff. And obviously, every now and then you probably should do a little bit heavier. But the more and more fighters I meet, the more experienced they are. Some of them don't fight. I know the guy, he's MMA, he's in this gym, or he's a coach, but he also is a fighter. Uh, he won his last fight after a long gap. He has another fight in December. He doesn't spar anymore, but he trains like he's hungry for the fight. So That's his attitude in the top. He's also from Tajikistan. He used to be exposed to a lot of fights, a heavy weight cuts, this and that, and all of that was considered normal. But the reality is that that's not um, that's not going to promote longevity. And the times change, the science gets better, more advanced, and the approaches evolve as well. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you should stop sparring, but spar smart. Because if you just put someone who just spars and train their willpower, in reality they don't get faster. They keep making same and same mistakes. The brain creates the resistance. They actually, every time they have a sparring, they're subconsciously fearing it, and they kind of like push themselves to overcome it. That is not the biochemistry you want to have in your brain in the first place. And if you take a boxer who's been his sparring partner, they have open communication. He has the coach that gives both an exact task to make that exact boxer better, prepare them better for that specific opponent, practice certain elements, certain, like, obviously not just the one combo or another or two, but yes, there are certain combos that work, and they're like obviously jabbing and this and that. They do that in a smart way, so the brain actually does the repetitions within the sparring, learns how to react to the certain movements and punches, and in reality, when he comes up, he actually does better. Well, I wonder how Ilia Topuria boxing set had. Well, two things. No, one thing at least. Both Topuria brothers focus at one sport. When they train, they don't do general MMA training. They train boxing with boxers. They train wrestling with wrestlers, and I think it's a very good way to train. It's at least one of the reasons. MMA is getting boring. Russian Dagestan fighters and just wrestling away and pray as you need to bring the red and yellow cards. Well, what they definitely need, the referees need to start breaking off fights when the real activity stops. Activity means, in the beginning, obviously, on wrestling, the wrestler has to go, make it as active as possible, trying to go for submission and this and that. It shouldn't be just a huggy match. It's not a BJJ. It's not wrestling to always be on the ground. Once it stops, it continues as just a control and just slow, I mean, nothing else comes out. Super dominating wrestling. But I'm just saying, from entertainment point of view, since the sport is growing, they want to make it more entertaining, so more and more people turn to it. So I think we need to start breaking off more this control time. Like, control time is, well, good, yeah. Wrestling, a wrestler always going to have a control time over a kickboxer. That's no question. But that takes away from the fight. Potentially that they could, so break it off, give them the activity time, when obviously if there's like a 1.5 minute, for example, full activity, or even longer, that's okay. When the other the submit person submits to the position, they try to escape. They really try to get out there, and the dominating side goes for the submission, not just for control or laying over them and holding them, but like for the submission. Maybe yes, because that's still activity. At some point, break them off, back to the stance, all over. That's okay. Let's count. I mean, if it's a wrestler, they still can go for another takedown, and they can just stack up the takedowns, and that's gonna get at the point, because you cannot just ban wrestling just because it's dominating and less entertaining. You cannot do that. But I think there is possible to manage the breakoffs, like, because again, if there was a wrestling, obviously you don't break off wrestlers, but it's mixed martial arts, so I think the rules needs to be changed to the favor that referee decides how to break the fighters off, and kind of give the opportunity. And it's also going to encourage wrestlers to become better strikers too, and do some fighting in the striking as well, because it's quite challenging. It's hard to always get on those takedowns unless you're Mirab. It's not that easy. It's the energy consuming, so it's kind of going to motivate them to probably get better in their striking, which is going to be a win-win situation. If you compare yourself to good boxers, how would you rank yourself? I'm not going to rank myself at anything. Until I get somewhere. If I get somewhere, and some other people rank me, I'm not going to rank myself. I can rank myself. I think I have a good coaching skills. I think I see the stuff, and the question is, am I going to be able to execute what I'm saying? But as a coach, I think if I would have someone who has the talent, has that, can execute what I'm saying, I think I could make a very good boxing coach, like a pro boxing coach. It's cold in Vietnam. It's cool today, but it's not cold. Somewhere in the next year. You're married, yes. Murap needs to be studied. That's true. Yeah, no, as I say, striking more entertaining, wrestling more dominant. It's like as simple as that in MMA. But we need to find a balance. Domination is entertaining sometimes. When you have some good fights, there's a mix of good wrestling slash BJJ, but also fighters sometimes get up back into stance themselves and continue in the stance. I think it's super entertaining, and I think people don't complain about those kind of fights much. People complain about over capitalizing on the wrestling, but you cannot blame wrestlers on that. You need rules, or like you need the referees to control the dynamic. She trains and answers some questions, but she does go deep in subject instead of just giving standard surface answers. Exactly. So, yeah, sorry for ranting, but um, I try to go deep on certain subjects that matter. I'm doing well, thank you. Hope you're doing well too. UFC should have adopted Pride rules. Yeah, that's an interesting take. Yeah, Pride is like Pride era was, I think, super entertaining. I'm Georgian. People think I'm Irish because of the ginger, fake ginger hair. I'm not even ginger naturally, but yeah, I'm Georgian. Well, what was Usyk saying? Usyk wanted to fight Fury again or something? Yeah, that's what. Like, I haven't followed up what who's his potential next opponent. What counts as an entertainment is up to the viewer. Dominant performance can be entertaining too. It's up to show you perceive it. As I said, I just said, like I think a minute ago about that. And to me, as a person who likes watching different martial arts, I'm not really that negative against the wrestling, even if it just fully goes as a wrestling. I watch it as a wrestling. It kind of automatically turns, but it's fair to say that most of the casual fans, and UFC wants to target more of the casual fans. They want people to come and watch the thing and be entertained and be engaged and excited. So if you just uh, let it be like the way it is, it's not gonna attract the new eyes. It won't. And I'm not talking about the wrestling specifically. I'm talking about a two like entire fight, so called as they say hugging match or like a pure wrestling. It's just not gonna be entertaining for the casual fans. And it's a commercial sport like a pro boxing. It wants to keep it the balance between the sports performing and the athleticism and entertainment. That's always UFC always was about that. And now the skill set developed so much that in wrestling developed so much. So now you have fighters, mostly Russian fighters, that just pushing on the wrestling heavily, and it's the most dominating style. You cannot do anything about it except possibly UFC taking responsibility on it themselves. Fighters might not like it, but if we're talking about purely for a global entertainment sake, I think that there needs to be some adjustments to be done. Subscribed, amazing knowledge. Appreciate it. Glad, glad that you're here. I don't. I do respect the dominance of the Dagestani and Russian fighters, even though it's not my cup of tea. I'm just bringing up the general dilemma when it comes to making sport, as Dana White likes to say, make the biggest sport, like as big as boxing. Like if you approach anyone and you tell them, "Do you know boxing?" They can tell, "Yes, of course," even if they never watched boxing. If you approach a lot of people about MMA, UFC. I approach a lot of people and they're like, "What's that?" It's still not at that level, but it's not going to get at that level if it's going to be if this. I mean, it sucks to say, but yeah, wrestling dominance as the pure sport needs to be um, adjusted. It's funny because before there were Gracies and there was BJJ. BJJ was the one that dominated most. The first the Ultimate Fighter Championship winner was Hoist Gracie, right? BJJ. But then I think fighters adapted to BJJ because BJJ is still more defensive wrestling, and they adapted to it was a combination of the like wrestlers slash strikers. You had Emelianenko who is sambo. Sambo is good, effective against uh, BJJ, so that's why. But he also like somehow before it wasn't that problem because it was all mixed, and the fighters I think it was still not clumsy. I don't want to call it, but the level was still a bit low, and that's why the fighters were more excited. They were more risky. Like if you watch Don't Fry and Takayama fight, the guys just hold each other. Just you remember how it starts? That's crazy. Do you see that now? No, because the technique developed. Most of the punchers and the strikers actually also developed a better knockout and punching accuracy. So you kind of the athletes have to beware each other now more. And well, wrestling appears to be super effective against basically all the sports: BJJ, kickboxing, Muay Thai, everything. And it's kind of like the part of the what are they gonna do it with it? As there is nothing, no disrespect to the fighters themselves. It's just kind of describing the how it's going right now. What do you do if you ever get burnout after a fight? Rest. You gotta rest your brain, rest your body, everything. I took a month off and feel terrible because of it and struggling to get back where the A was. Well, that you need to deal first of all with struggle of well, you burn out because of a lot of training because you are afraid to drop every day. Like you don't rest. I know a lot of athletes. I had that thing too, and I felt guilty if I didn't even train for a week. In reality, if you don't train for a week, it's full recovery and you actually come back fresh. So first of all, you need to change the attitude towards it. Just relax. 1 month is not the tragic. In 1 month, your skill didn't go anywhere. Your muscles fully recovered, and maybe relax. Maybe it's good if you keep going like for months and months. Obviously, your muscle mass going to start decreasing. Your body's not going to try to preserve something that you don't use. But just go back and start slowly, but don't go too hard. Just preserve the whatever muscle memory you have. Just have a lighter training for now, for the first. Assimilate, adapt, get used to it. Do it. Don't have to. You don't have to do it every day. Start doing twice or 3 times a week. That's enough. But then you can focus more and also do some days. You can at some point start going every day again, but some days dedicate just for technique, which doesn't have to be heavy at all. You gotta be careful because, as I said, don't create resistance in your brain. And I'm saying don't overtrain. Don't go too heavy on the sparrings because that's just automatically gonna create the resistance in your brain. Like you're gonna want to go, but your brain's gonna oh no, that's danger. I don't feel comfortable because it's too heavy, too hard, and your brain is created for survival. It is destined um, to to ensure you survive. So it's a little bit like a primitive part of our brain reacting that way, but we need to manipulate it. Well, how we try to make training as the super good, super positive experience. That's why, again, right periodization, right impact. Have a harder days a couple times a week for the beginning. The rest, technique, light cardio, this and that. Just try to get back to it gradually. What is your opinion on the IPO? So on that one, we definitely need well deducting points, obviously, and more like imposing it on anyone. And disqualification, when you have like a super hard eye poke, just disqualified. No contest is just no, like make it stricter, because around 14% of the UFC fighters, that's a statistic, are responsible for 65% of the eye pokes. That's super high number of the very small percentage. Most champions in the UFC wrestling background, and I'm not saying, oh, let's take away the wrestling, so kickboxers stuff. MMA fighter has to have a strong wrestling background, judo, wrestling, sambo, and BJJ too, because you need to be able to survive or dominate from the bottom position as well. So BJJ is also needed, and that's why I like but that's why I like Tapurias. They created a style fully pushing on boxing. That's why it's so entertaining. You're like, wow, the best boxers, amazing. But they were originally they're wrestlers, and I like their attitude, because they, instead of making it easy for themselves and just push on whatever, they're like, oh, just let's be wrestlers like everyone else. They understand that they're going to be way more appreciated by the fan base, and actually they're going to be way more successful if they show that they have a background in wrestling and BJJ, and they can support, they can wrestle if needed. Like, have you seen Taporia is like the older Taporia now, post fight, uh, performing suplexes and like amazing Greco-Roman elements, beautiful. But they get back to the stance, and they mostly push on the striking unless it's necessary. And that's the thing. You try to come on them on wrestling, well, good luck, because they're good wrestlers. I respect that, uh, even more than just relying on your sport. I don't blame athletes who do that, but as I said, you cannot also say that the ones who are well-rounded fighters. That's why I don't blame Islam either. I think out of the Dagestani fighters, Islam is one of the best well-rounded. He has very good defensive striking. I just wish maybe Islam pushed a little bit more on striking. Like again, GDM, for example, he could just go full on striking if he would win the fight. Like, jokes aside, he was outstriking GDM, but then he went for, like, in that case, I would appreciate a little bit more for him to show us actually, like, since he was already dominating in the stance, I would love to see more of the stand-up fight, because he was doing it very well, and he was actually showing quite a good professionalism. Ilya versus Sarukian, who attacked Ilya, but I also agree that Sarukian is a good fight for him, and he needs to take that one, of course. Before Islam, he needs to fight Sarukian. Do you know the Levan, the world champ, the Saginashvili? Yeah, I met him once. He's very, very polite man. No, I understand that fighters need to get, but it's impossible, because wrestling is harder to learn and takes way longer somehow than striking. You can become, if it's trained smart, you can become a decent striker in a year or two, if you have a like fighting base. With wrestling, it's almost impossible, I would say. So I'm not talking about fairness here. I'm talking about as a UFC, if I had an organization and I want to make it as entertaining and balance it out a little bit, I would start training referees to kind of find and to teach them when to break off when it becomes still too much of the hugging, when the activity really dies and it's just basically holding an opponent and then on the ground. You know the history. Hell yeah, BJJ ruled the UFC for years. Then came Matt Hughes with wrestling. Yeah, Matt Hughes. Actually, yeah, you're right, because before Dagestan is there, before Habib, there was Matt Hughes. But yeah, Habib was Dagestani/Russian wrestling. Though he had the Emelianenko, but his background was sambo. Uh, in current wrestling, we're talking about Caucasian wrestling. That's why Georgian, in reality, if you take like a Russian general wrestling, And Dagestani wrestling, Dagestani and Georgian wrestling is way closer in their styles than Dagestani and, for example, um, Central Russia or something like that. You know what I mean? Uh, so Caucasus wrestling, Caucasian wrestling is something that is dominating now. But you've seen Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes was one of the fighters that gave a hard time uh, to uh, um, to Hamzat. Yeah, Hamzat had issues with lungs. I know all of that. It was in the COVID periods, stuff like that. I'm just saying, at that point, whatever it was, I think it was one of the toughest fights for Hamzat. And we saw some vulnerabilities in his style. So, but it's definitely it takes the wrestling. It takes a strong wrestler. And I think the current generation, so now raising kids or like young people for potentially become MMA fighters, everyone does that sequence. They start from wrestling slash BJJ. Greco-Roman ideally can be sambo. Judo is good too, just for this role. So combined, but if I would pick one, I would go for Greco-Roman and BJJ to have kind of like all the whole ground game, and then striking after. You can add up striking later, no problem. Like it's easier to learn striking. What's the best way to develop power? You can develop strength, but you need to do that through the strength training with weights. Less than 5 repetitions is the strength. That means obviously you need to aim for a heavier weight. Do you think Darren will last to champion? I think she will be knocked out. I think if Young Bailey comes down, I like Darren. I'm not, and I think her striking got better. Uh, and she's quite endurant too. I think she's not bad at all. But I think if Zhang Wei and probably Zhang Bailey gonna go back to the strawweight, I think Zhang wins. Yeah, Nishan Dev. I know who he is. Yeah, I haven't seen his fights, but I know who is that boxer. I'm doing a lot of shadow boxing, but it's growing repetitive. What do I do? Actually, you don't need to like. That's a lot of problems with all of us. Like we sometimes go and we need to do. Well, relax. You're training there, right? You're training to actually master something. It's okay to take and do boom. Let's say you do one, one, two, and you do that combo within movement for for mostly that time. Doesn't matter who looks at you. Doesn't matter what they say. You decide that okay, now I'm working pump just on this, and then like relaxing, pump, 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 and again relaxing, pump, 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 changing angles. You can just do one single combo and just do it. It's fine. Obviously, you need to. Sometimes you go impro. Sometimes you're like, okay, now here, jab, jab, jab. Pump, pump, straight, pump, shift, pump, pump. You can go a little bit slower. If you want to upgrade your combos, then you can slow down the pace a little bit, and you're like, just think about something, 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, and repeat it again. Your brain needs repetitions to actually learn something. And it's better be right repetitions. If you just learn how to punch the back like this, you're gonna keep punching it like this. If you just focus a little bit and you boom, work on the technique, boom, 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 something like this, then it's a higher chance that you actually gonna be more proficient in your technique. What's your record in amateur? I have 5 fights many years ago, like almost 8 years ago, and then I retired, and now I'm looking forward to get ready for, open my pro record and show it on my channel, obviously. I don't know why BJJ gets so much disrespect. It's very effective, and MMA wrestlers without BJJ are terrible. Uh, I'm not saying that they're terrible, but if you take pure wrestling against pure BJJ, and that's the thing, in wrestling, they have submissions, they have like, it might not be as equipped on the bottom position, but it still has the elements. So wrestlers can't defend themselves from pretty much all the BJJ elements. Maybe some like a specific law, like a leg locks. There's certain stuff that the pure wrestler wouldn't anticipate. But wrestling is just, and also considering that wrestler, a dominant position, from the dominant position, they spend less energy trying to dominate from the top position, rather than the BJJ from the bottom position. It's way more time consuming, energy consuming. So over time, when you have 25 minutes and you round to round, the person who does performs is purely using BJJ too. Usually they end up into surviving. Well, GDM trade what's his coach, the what's the black belt, like the Craig, I forgot his name, but or surname, but anyways, like he trained BJJ. He was, and they were saying like, yeah, he's getting ready. Well, in reality, he did everything successfully what he could do from using BJJ against the wrestling. He made sure that he didn't get submitted by Islam, and that's quite a big thing because Islam has super high rates on submission. And I think people don't look at it that way. They think, oh, GDM is a failure. No, he did, but he did what he trained. Ilya actually commented very well on it. He should have went to Georgia, or he should go to Georgia and actually like, or do like a full. No, I think he said he needs to go and do full camp, wrestling camp, separately, pure wrestling, because well, now it seems like what BJJ usually can do. Um, their submission rate against the wrestlers is getting lower now because wrestlers kind of know how to defend themselves, and they win at least by the, even if not by submission, by having an extra control time and extra damage. You know what I mean? So guys, you need wrestling. Like the only way is you get wrestling against wrestling, and obviously you still need BJJ. I'm not saying that BJJ is. I'm not disrespecting BJJ. I'm just saying that you need wrestling, good BJJ, and good striking. Like these three, I think I create a very optimal base for MMA. Keep scrolling up, guys. Sorry for ranting, but you could be a good wrestler. I did a little bit wrestling. I think I could do it naturally, but again, focusing on striking. I wouldn't say Arman Turkic should fight Ilya first. I mean, if he deserves it. Islam will otherwise never fight Ilya. He would lose to Arman, that's why. I mean, I don't think so, but at this point, we can just acknowledge Arman as the number one contender and the biggest threat to Ilya. But I think Ilya wins. I think Ilya still got it. Well, Islam is definitely harder than Arman for Ilya. There is no doubt about that. There's no doubt. So a little bit doesn't make sense. If Ilya is going, really going for Islam, well, he kind of has to fight on a Turkian on the way and make people to kind of realize that, he got it. So many people in Vietnam because it's a beautiful, wonderful country, but it's also, yeah, very affordable. Yeah, Craig Jones, that's right. Thank you. Yaps a bit too much. Well, I'm not doing my training anymore, so I'm talking to the chat. BJJ is nothing in front of wrestling. I've been yapping about it. Unfortunately, right now, as I said, wrestlers know how to protect themselves against the BJJ's submissions, and they ended up on the top. They dominate from the top position, get the control time, and as a good BJJ, if you manage not to get submitted, you lose by the control time. How good are you compared to Amanda Serrano? Amanda Serrano is beast. She might not consider be as super like technical as Katie Taylor, for example. I think what was the second fight? I think Amanda won second fight. One of the fights she definitely won. This was the ones I watched because yeah, she's super tough. She's a hard puncher. She's explosive. She's a warrior. You know what I mean? And obviously she has a good boxing technique. But like I want female boxing to become a little bit like keep evolving towards what is Katie, and for more and more females get there. Another good boxer is Gabriela Fondora. She is now like a 51 kg flyweight champion. She's also massive. She's like super tall and super long reach for. She's like 51. I'm 53. So if I would fight 51, she's like this. No, this height probably. And she has like a super long reach. Definitely a nightmare for the short boxers, and knows how to capitalize on the distance. So but at least she seems very technical against her opponents. At least I don't think she really gets that much resistance yet, at least in the weight class to really struggle. But she also does very good technical boxing. That's one of the reasons I would start from 48 kgs. Yeah, I would. No, thank you. Minimal weight for me. I think Krav Maga is the best self-defense. For Krav Maga, you still need to have certain base and training. BJJ, that kind of aligns well with Krav Maga, and I think boxing or kickboxing, some sort of striking. Just Krav Maga, it's like a self-defense system. But people who are not trained, and I think that if they learn Krav Maga, there's gonna be they're gonna get superpowers. And unfortunately, a lot of people think that way. That it's like it's almost like doing Tai Chi and Aikido and stuff like that. Yeah, the single elements might be usable, but a real fight, a real self-defense is a high intensity. It's a resistance. It's a real pressure and resistance, and that's why the actual martial arts are the most effective ones. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm still here. Good to see you again. One question: are you really 5'2"? Yes, I am. I'm not tall. I would compare myself to something, but I'm not very good. Oh, ice bath. Two people, three people. Interesting. They did like new prices for the ice bath. Cold plunge. LOL. Superpowers. Okay, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up soon. So, yeah, please ask anything else if you want to. So, yeah, I'll respond for a couple more questions and I'll wrap it up in a bit. As I said, today I'm a little bit useless. I had 2 days ago my husband coached me, trained me on the strength, and I'm super sore, like super sore. Like man, it was like it still hurts. So my triceps, like when I try to throw a punch, it hurts. So ow. When I go fast, it hurts. A lot of lactic acid still. So I got some massage today. Try to probably gonna do a little bit of stretch, my fascial release, just to break it off a little bit, and hopefully tomorrow I'm gonna be able to do more training. Not only back, like back boxing is good. My intention is to get better stamina and strength. So now working on the strength. So it's gonna be. I'm already talk to my husband, ask him to coach me. Like I'm calling him, yes, like telling him, yes, coach for everything. He tells me because he's very good at strength development, and yeah, I need someone who pushes me on that one a little bit. And yeah, another thing is endurance, boxing endurance, sprints, that kind of stuff, and obviously sparring. So I'm gonna start attending more. Every Saturday I have like sparring days for in boxing, and this Saturday, hopefully there is not another storm. Like everyone is having their fingers crossed, so there's no storm. But yeah, I'm actually gonna come to that the boxing coach, An, he's Vietnamese guy, is very good boxer, very good boxing coach. Actually, the one of the best ones I met. He's gonna look at me, and which also he's gonna try to help me to basically make me better. So yeah, we're gonna work around my technique, around the things that work, the certain imperfections that matter, and yeah, gradually gonna get more into like competitive stamina conditioning, and I'm gonna look forward to try to schedule the fight. I have some people who already can do that, so that wouldn't be a problem. You ever put someone to sleep? I put someone in knockdown. Yeah, it was knocked down. I also was not. I don't think I was. Like I was taught the classic, like uh, Soviet style boxing, but and I was 57 kg and I couldn't cut the weight, so I would fight with someone who's way taller than me and bigger than me naturally. And yeah, it was not easy. So I usually, if I would win with points. But now, cutting all the way to 48, and yeah, speed and power. Like this is two things, and obviously footwork, but yeah, speed and power are two things that I'm really looking for, and explosivity, like boom, 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 twister punchers, combos, managing the distance, getting in. If it's still a taller boxer, if not, I actually love countering and that kind of style, so I don't mind doing that. But it really depends what kind of competition I have. Do you think Hamzat would have a chance against Islam if he dropped to 170 purely theoretically or interesting? Yeah, Hamzat, first of all, he didn't really feel well. He's, I think he's quite big for welterweight. It's not impossible for him, but he was going through massive cuts. Whether the Islam feels good there, and Islam is way more technical. And there's wrestling. I'm having a hard time. I think Hamzat might have more aggressive wrestling, but I think on the BJJ side and more diversity and agility, Islam is better. So considering that Islam would feel better, I go for Islam. He has very good countering, but there is a chance Hamzat could have a striker's lock, meaning like throwing that cross, landing it. I assume he has a longer reach. I don't remember exactly, but he has to have longer reach than Islam. And in that case, Islam is not very strong chin. It's interesting, right? But he's not very strong chin. But apart from that, I think he's more technical than on other aspects. Even wrestling, again, as I said, Hamzat seems to be more pressuring wrestler. Islam is also pressuring, but I'm talking comparing to Hamzat, though his BJJ game and diversity in wrestling is, I think, higher. You know what I mean? So it's not easy to just keep Islam down on the ground, especially if he stacks up more weight. And yeah, even if there is a little height or size difference between them, doesn't matter because welterweight would be way more optimal weight class for Islam than Hamzat. So I would still go for Islam unless there is an accidental knockout from Hamzat. I think Georgians are not that long, right? Like Merab, Billy, Alexander, and you. Yeah, or time. I mean, Georgians' average height is actually 180 centimeters. Not the tallest people, but not the shortest. Like Vietnamese people on average, for example, are way shorter. It just happened that shorter guys are the most, and in the lighter weight classes are more dominating. And I'm a girl. I'm not crazy short. I'm like for at least for Georgians, I'm not like short. There's shorter girls than I am in Georgia. You're not a man. Switch to a girl sport like that. I challenge any guy to try ballet. Ballet is one of the most damaging things that you ever do. Like, have you? I don't think any martial artist cried as much as the ballet performance, both men and female. Like, it is super brutal. Like, no, I wouldn't send my kids to the ballet. Like, anything ballet is a fairies, and that's just a beautiful, pretty facade. Ballet is one of the most brutal things. Like, you can look it up yourself. Okay, you don't want other girl that is my size to punch me in the face, but you want me to do ballet. Like literally, do your research before you suggest some things. You don't want your girls to go to ballet. If you want them to suffer from the all sorts of joint injuries, broken toes. It's a, well, man, come on, ballet. What are you talking about? Hello. I think power is everything, and the fight fast. Yes, pressure, but again, um, for the longer fights, if you have someone that's like not easy to knock out or break, endurance wins. So I wouldn't say even if you're a knockout artist, I wouldn't compromise my endurance. I would still train for endurance to be able to perform that endurance. How was your day in Vietnam? It's great. It's your hairline receding. No, it's just super light hair. Surprise, surprise. Hello, fan of your talk show. Stamina boosting exercises as the boxer. Any interval cardio, interval burnouts, like on the heavy back and slash heavy punches, just to keep that pace high and doing like explosive speed movement. You can do same on shadow boxing, do the same on cut, and can do sort of on the sparrings too. So, for example, you train with the person and your coach, and that person is your sparring partner, and you have the task that you work like defensive, just short single punchers, and then you have a burnout, like, and then you go and punch them on the court. No need for face because you don't want to just damage someone, and you just boom, 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 keep punching them. So sometimes we've done that. It's just to replicate it in the sparring session. And apart from that, sprints, interval sprints, 4x4 or 3x3 methods, like Norwegian endurance athletes use that on the high impact training. So when you have longer intervals, like 3 minutes running at the highest pace, like 85, 95% out of your heart rate max, and then 3 minutes you just keep walking on the treadmill, for example, and then you do that again. Treadmill is the best because it helps you to stay in the same pace. So what happens is you work on your lung capacity. So VO2 max, you grow your lung capacity. And when you do shorter intervals like sprints, like burnouts, like 10, 20 seconds, then you jog, then you keep doing it again. In that case, or even like anything under the minute, basically, you work on your capacity to create explosive momentum, to have like speed endurance, basically keeping your hands speedy and snappy for longer, as long as possible, and not get tired from round to round. So this is general protocols for boxing endurance. Ilya or Mirab, what's your choice of a better fighter? Both Topurias, his brother, and Ilya. And I'm talking both because Ilya, Alexander's brother, had the second win exact Beksat Alkman, and he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a super good fighter, and he won. Ilya won quite well, and style wise and general fighting style wise, Topurias are definitely way ahead. But Mirab is a true warrior. You know what I mean? Like Mirab kind of have it all. He's humble. He has crazy physicality and endurance, and that he worked on it. It's like the most torturous training you can possibly have. But he went through it. I believe so. Obviously, genetic factors too. And sorry. Um, and as a fighter, I think he's evolving from fight to fight. Now his coach is making sure that his striking got better. And against Sandhagen in the last fight, you could see his striking got better. He was super dominant in the stance and super good at the stance. And his wrestling is like beautiful throws. So his technique also getting more cleaned up. So personally, I just love Nurab. Like he might not be better fighter, like as the just breaking down in the aspects as the just style. But I think in everything, like if you look general, I think Ilya is better. He's more experienced. He has a great resume. The only thing that Tapuria Ilya is ahead of the Merab is obviously knockout performance. Ilya is not like super good knockout performer. When Merab, he went for that knockout. He tried to knock out Sanhagen, and I think that was a good attempt. And let's see. I think they changed the game. He's not playing that safe anymore. But then before with a rematch with Malik was a submission, and I think it was good. So let's see. Maybe Merab keeps up, try to get better a little bit at the finishing the fights. But you cannot just change everything that rapidly. So. In that aspect, Topuria is always going to be a better um, knockout artist than just a mixed martial performer. But I still pick Merab. I love Merab. He delivers someone is wild, yeah, and that has to happen. What's up from Malaysia? Hi. You keep reminding me of Becky Lynch. By the way, do you know who Becky Lynch is? Yes, I know. I've been comparing to her too many times to not know her. The WWE pro wrestler. Where are you from? I'm from Georgia. Same country as Nurab and Ilya, since we're speaking about them. Hey, one question. Consistent speed punches or few power punches, which affects more? Uh, Opponent, obviously power punches. If you throw that couple power punches, your opponent is already careful with you. If you just throw like the light stuff, if your opponent feels that it's nothing, and even if it's fast, I mean, it depends. If you're super fast and you just catch them and they keep bumping on your punches, obviously that's gonna exhaust them. But like the punching wise, it's that's why you have a combination. You do a lot of speed punches, but then you have the openings and you do boom boom like hard punches, like 2 3 punches at the most, strong, explosive, any kind of them, especially if they come at you. Like it's good in the defensive boxing. Like you might be defensive, but then you're like bam bam, catching them, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna gotta be careful before going there, and that's good because then after that you can set up your pace. Are you on a night walk today? It's like at 8:20 almost, and well, it's super safe in the Chang. Guys, you won't believe how safe it is here. So yeah, I'm gonna walk home after that. Guys, come on, don't do bad comments. She's married, trying to teach us something, or share my stuff. And people ask me stuff, so I respond to questions. But appreciate it. Thanks for uh, Sarab. Thank you for saying that. And again, who is like to be like this? I don't mind about jokes and teasing and stuff. It's fine. We can all laugh. But if it's a disrespect in the chat, not only towards me but towards someone else, it's just one click for me to just ban you from the channel forever. Did you bleach it? No, I don't bleach my hair. You see? Look at my natural hair. So it's quite light. It's like an ash. Comparing to ginger, it's like an ash-like color. See? So I just put the color, and it just becomes the way it is. And it doesn't like there is barely any difference on the light or on the sun. If you can see, there is. Well, it's not blonde, but it's very typical hair color for the Slavic women. My mom is Slavic. She's half Russian, half Ukrainian, and apparently her genes won. Genes. She has a good genes. Are you in Thailand? No, I'm in Vietnam. Best way to increase cardio according to you, mate. As I said, combats for cardio is short explosions and high pacing. So for that, you do two things. You do intervals, but you do longer intervals, like 3 minutes, running 85, 95% out of your heart rate max. And then you recover for same amount, and you try to do few rounds like that. And obviously, gradually, rather increase speed or grow the rounds. In that case, you're gonna grow your lung capacity, VO2 max. and the the oxygen absorption capacity within your lungs. And the shorter intervals is just more the natural to the boxing pattern. So you would be like pacing and then pum pum pum, and then you would do two two. So from short explosions to high, like quite a high pace, comfortable, pacing. So for that, you would do burnouts, like short burnouts, 10, 20 seconds, equal amount of rest, then again. So you would just time it, or someone would time it for you. Also, apart from the outside of the boxing gym, you would do sprints. Sprints are great. You just do explosive sprints, 10, 20 seconds. I mean, it depends. It's from 100 to 200 meters, something like this. And then you can jump backwards or even walk backwards for the beginning. Do it again and do it like multiple times. Try to aim for 5 and then try to add up gradually. uh, Ilya Islam, I always say, if it happens in welterweight, that sounds most likely, then Ilya's chances decrease. It decrease like 60-40 on Islam's advantage, because Ilya will have to stack up the weight, but he will have to do it very correctly. We're talking about muscle weight here. You know what I mean? So it takes time. It's not that fast. And he would need to adapt, and then he would need to do quarter cut and then stack it back up within 24 to 48 hours. He cannot afford being underweight or depleted or dehydrated in that weight class against Islam, because that's gonna almost cost him his performance. You know what? Not almost. It's gonna cost him his good performance. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much sure that his team is aware of that, but still, I still hope it's gonna happen in a catch fight. Do you like Carlos Prates? He's having good fights for a while. No, I like Carlos Prates. He's one of the entertaining fighters, but he needs to improve his ground game. He has to. Like him and Young Gary are almost not a threat to Islam because of that. Shaukat and Morales, like more, I think Morales is the biggest threat in welterweight, upcoming threat for in the welterweight for Islam. You will start your own boxing gym one day? Yeah. Oh, why not? Absolutely. Absolutely would love to. I'll be honest, more than fighting, I'm more interested into actually raising kids in the gym and new generations. And my kids will be there too, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I would further try to establish myself as a pro coach, because I already do longevity, recovery, you know, I try to follow science on the stuff, and I do the gradual, focus on the gradual and smart work. But it would be very interesting to focus on the performing coaching in boxing. But before that, obviously, I want to have my fights, and it depends how it goes. If it goes very, very well, there's no point for me not to like fight, like a higher level. But at the same time, that's not something that's like it. I'm just excited to do some pro fights and have a record. You know what I mean? And show my progress. How can develop a cardio like Mirab? I already said it. Interval cardios, high intensity versus high pacing. Sprints, burnouts, longer intervals like 3 minutes at the time, and shorter intervals like 20 seconds at the time. All work. You train wrestling as well? I don't. Not at this point. Are you pro boxer? Looking forward to. I used to be amateur. Living near mountains and trying my best to run on mountains to increase my cardio, and then also strengthen my calves, but it's really hard to do road work in the mountains. Yeah, well, I mean, mountain training is good. Can't say anything about that. If you start boxing gym, I will definitely be one of your students. Everyone would be welcome. That will be a very nice thing to see your own boxing culture. Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I think, as I said, as much I do believe that I already had a very good observation skills and analysis. I want to perform it at least to a certain extent myself. So kind of prove the point that yeah, there are certain things and try to execute them as good as possible. So it's a gradual process. I'm not rushing anywhere. But at the same time, yeah, I'm already seeing myself more of as a coach, and I'm getting excited more about. That's why I like doing the fight breakdowns, both boxing and MMA. The MMA, I've done a lot of those sports enough to just be able to watch it as a sport and just make some logical breakdowns. I'm not going to delve too much into BJJ, for example, because I've done some BJJ for a few months and I know the submission moves and all that kind of stuff. But you know what I mean? I'm not going to delve into the specifics because I'm not that qualified in BJJ or wrestling. But I know boxing, and I think in the mixed martial arts, it's interesting. If you've done any sports on a higher level, professional level, and then you done a little bit, even for uh, playing with other like friends who are like from different backgrounds. That's what we used to do, doing different sports. Sometimes it would be wrestling day. Sometimes we would do MMA, kickboxing. This is how I learned to do spinning back kick. That kind of stuff. Well, then you start kind of understanding the sport, at least on the watching level and commentary level. But when it comes to boxing, I see it all, meaning that I see what is the purpose of a boxer doing this or that, because I've been training that for a long time. Islam versus Usman and Ilya versus Arman next setup. I think Ilya Arman is going to be a little bit tougher one for Ilya rather than Islam versus Usman. I think Usman was great at his prime, but now I think he has issues with both of his hip joints, and that is super painful. Even me, like I sometimes have, because of my orthodox stance, sometimes I have tightness in my lower back and transcends on my hip. After I rest and stretch it well, it's good. But I'm just saying, even there, like it feels almost impossible to move properly. So I'm not seeing Usman winning that. What time is there? It's like 8:28. What will be your boxing philosophy? Well, I like a lot of the Kaz D'Amato stuff. I think his philosophy of smart training, a lot of exercises, wasn't that the sparring wasn't the main part of the thing. The main part was learning that repetitive movements through his methods and specific exercises. So I definitely pro that to uh, train the brain. You need to know how the brain functions in the first place and how it reacts to the outside factors to be able to create a system around it. But also, I like his mental attitude about, for example, attitude with fear. And I actually kind of went to that philosophy even before finding out that Casamaro actually preached that and taught Tyson about that if you use the fear, if you become friendly with it, if you make a peace with your fear, because everyone fears, everyone drops in a fight and flight response. On the ring, the difference is that comes with experience and with an obviously mentally focused work, the attitude towards it. When you make a peace with your own demons and when you make a peace with your own fear, you understand that it's just a protective mechanism that your brain promotes. Because you think, okay, you're standing fight one on one, that other person wants to kill you. That's how your brain's thinking. If you use it as a tool that you direct it outwardly, and you literally can visualize to do it. Because if you keep it inwardly and it's like starts suffocating you, your legs gonna start like literally wobbling. And this is very interesting because I think everyone went through that. And in someone who never done fight, and that's the first their first like amateur pro fights, I think that they had that kind of experience. But then the more experience you get, you learn how to push it outwardly. So you focus, exhale. Breath work matters. Like you can do so much with the breath work. There are techniques how to like literally learn how to exhale and push out that energy, so you don't let it accumulate and suffocate you here. Then it becomes a tool, and you can just literally go and like super wired, super focused, and with experience it keeps getting better and better. So uh, hard work together with the smart work. That's my philosophy. Would be my philosophy. I'm orthodox and I have a one problem is throwing my right hook. I always lose my balance somehow and I can generate the same power as my left hook. Can you give some tips or how uh, show me how I should throw it? I'll be honest. I think I have the same problem because what I noticed me doing, like I learned to, for example, do uppercut, like up or like hook to the stomach, boom, boom. So reality, because I if you do it very fast, you do. So I'm not even rotating that fast. So that one is not as hard as the last one. If you want to separately train it, obviously you need to stand up and you can just punch like a boom and getting back. Boom. Sorry, ow. Still sore. But you can train as a single combo or the combo like left, right, on like a jab hook, for example. You can train two punchers and maybe you get to the three puncher combos um, and do it maybe drop speed a little bit, but still create the power through velocity principle and go heavier. Like there's no point going like heavier, boom, like this. Not really. You want to be able like like you need to explode to a certain extent. So your body gets used to the explosive momentum. As I said, start doing just a single punch like this kind of stuff, you know, and then two, three punches. But also, don't over stress about it because smart combos matter too. Because okay, you might not have from that angle, it might not land, but it lands and still has an impact, even though you might not feel that it's super powerful. But that's okay because you're used to throwing and always leaving that left hook. And left hook is the highest on the numbers of the knockouts. Why? Because usually, even though just a single left hook doesn't do much, but if you just like go stomach, right hook first, and then left hook, because of the leverage, because of the momentum and the increased range, you're super wired at that point, and boom, that one ends up to be the most powerful. As long as it lands, as long as you set it up here, that's good. You know what I mean? And obviously, there's not going to be that much of disparity of the punches. Punch is still a punch. If you learn how to throw explosive punch, it's powerful. It's powerful enough. You will be celebrated as a boxing trainer. The game is hungry for more women boxing trainers. I mean, it would be amazing. Uh, as I said, I'm very peaceful. I don't like arrogance. Yeah, like I've seen some. There was this big, actually, I think she's quite big coach in Russia. There's a female box. She's literally talking like a man, not even like a man. She talks like a sorry, but like a gopnik, like it works for some people. There are different style coaches, and for some people, that's what they need. I would be the same as I'm now. Not like, oh, what you doing? What you do? No, like that's not that. You're not gonna hear that from me. I'm gonna tell you about your mistake, but we're gonna break it down. We're gonna find the reason why you're making it, and we're gonna try to build something optimal for you. You know what I mean? Because they are fundamentals, but there are also certain things that work. If you look at the modern boxing, it evolved so much on highest level. Look at the Crawford. The guy is breaking all the basic rules. He switches stances whenever he wants. He switches stances while backing off. But the thing is, this is like becoming an artist. When you learn everything that is academically correct, and you become at a higher like academically educated, you learn how to distort. That's how Picasso was. Like Picasso was an artist, very like a perfect realist of artist. He actually wanted to pursue that. He wanted to create realistic thing. And once, I think he was had a client that was the her his model didn't show up. And he got pissed at her, and he just distorted. He just like mocked her and distorted her painting and didn't finish it. And when his father, who was like a famous artist at that point, saw her this art, he's like, "This is good. Like this is what you should start." Not because of only art, but also that was a new perspective. It was something new, something that people didn't know before. And then he started. He didn't want to do that in the beginning too much, but he listened to his father, and he put that one first. And everyone comparing to the classic canvas, he was like everyone would get around that something that was like they were seeing like whatever, you know. And then he started concentrating and like mastering. So he would take his academic knowledge and he distort and create something great. Same with the boxing. So I think right now we're at this level, and at the higher level gets, the more uh, diverse and fluent boxers you're gonna meet, right? So it's not only about teaching the classic style. You start from the classics, you start from the basics, you master those, but then to be able to distort them, to be able to play chess basically. Keep up the good work, really informative stuff. Appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Good philosophy. I like Sugar Ray Leonard, shapeless style. He had a total new strategy every fight. Yeah, out of the four kings, um, yeah, he was. I think he was the most fluent. He was the most, as you were saying, the shapeless style. But in reality, um, it has its own shape. Well, you have some boxers who kind of from the beginning. Ali was like that. Leonard was to certain extent like that. Prince Nassim Hamed was like that. They just had a super good IQ, and some people are blessed with that. So they might not need that much of the fundamentals. They can improvise. But I still think the basics are very powerful because I think it was the fight between um, Nassim Hamed against Antonio Barrera, and Antonio Barrera was who did he lose to? I think he lost to Pacquiao, but he was very good Mexican boxer, very strong, very dominating. And his style was like classic and like a slash Mexican. Like it was quite classic stance, generally speaking, but super clean, super powerful punches. Not that exciting, but he grinded his strike. He just demolished Prince, the Nassim Hamed. Like he just destroyed him. And that was a very good example in the boxing world of the a strong, basic boxing base against flamboyancy and talent only. That's why I'm saying. That's why I like Terence Crawford. His combination of both. He's very good. Like he can do classic. Like with Canelo, he didn't even switch the stance. He didn't have to because he worked as the southpaw, classic southpaw with him. But also, what he does, he wasn't just doing like one bump bump countering. He would like get in. He would just annoy him. Once Canelo would open, immediately would find gappings, go harder punches. Then Canelo was obviously coming, but that he was just confused. Like he wouldn't find anything to counter Crawford, and he would like also keep the stance, get on the counter from the defensive distance. Then in the later rounds, go more in the offense, but basically using pretty much the classic southpaw. So yeah, I mean it's better to be have both basics. So if you know basics, you can always counter most of it, like most of the boxers. But then you add some fluency, you add some elements that are others are not using that much, timing that others are not using that much, and all of a sudden you become something else, like Tank. Oh, by the way, Tank Davis, amazing. Like if you look at Tank Davis, he's like something between a little bit of Tyson, but also obviously Mayweather. He's like a Mayweather's prospect. So Mayweather's defensive style, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see like Mayweather's defensive style, but also with a combination of offense and super powerful, super explosive punches. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Uh, Chris Form, appreciate it. I'm not in the best shape. As I said, my tricep still hurts after the landmine pushes, the strength training I did the day before yesterday. So I'm gonna, yeah, I gotta recover a little bit more. I have one more question. After 15 to 20-minute drill of shadow boxing, my right leg, specifically calf, starts hurting, and I need to change my stance. Is it common, or there is some problem with me? It's common because you're kind of standing on the thing. I would just suggest you to maybe lose up your stance a little bit. Yeah, classic stance is good, but yeah, it really starts hurting your leg at some point. So kind of relaxing. There is nothing wrong to move around and even switch the stance sometimes, because also don't forget that you're training, right? So when you're training, it's fine. That's gonna help you to get better. It's not ideal in the fight, obviously. Yeah, you're closing, yes? Okay. Yeah, Becky Lynch. I know. Thank you, guys. I always try to copy Dimitri Bivol. It's hard. I mean, really hard. Sometimes I cannot understand what he's doing and how he's doing that. Well, that's what he's doing. He's training that, like you. Like, well, it's just he keeps training. He keeps getting better. Adding a minute, like every minute, every time, increasing the timing, increasing the pace, something, just to get higher and higher at the level, the endurance level for it. You're such a good teller. So much emotion, much respect. Thank you. Respect to you guys. I appreciate you engaging and asking questions. Is this solid style? It's very difficult to learn. Is it all about rhythm? It's not all about only about rhythm. Before rhythm, it's about endurance and pace, and including the calf pace too. I suggest you to start doing more sprints. I'm not joking. Just the regular sprints. Maybe even do actually some track and field training. It's gonna help your calf endurance. Like guys, I started this channel from sprinting. Actually, I decided to just kind of show my sprinting journey. Then it just changed when we moved the country, and like I got back to the sport that I've been doing for a long time. But I haven't done it in months. And when I restarted it, I was surprised. Like my footwork was different. My calves are not getting tired anymore, and it's a very good thing. Like, just bouncing like that and just being able, boom, boom. Obviously, it's getting more intensive when you do a real fight, a real sparring. But it's okay. It's like one thing at a time. So start implementing sprints, short sprints, not the long ones, short ones where you just go full in. And so maximum 100 meters, not longer than that. How you all step? I was searching for mastering it. How to L step? I'm not sure what it means actually. As I said, reminding you that I learned most stuff. Do you mean like this? Like rotating? I don't know. I just thought that that would be an L shaped punch. Sorry, step. But yeah, you sometimes you gotta explain to me what it means in English, because most of my stuff I learned in Russian and in Georgian. Which boxing styles are you? Hopefully to get fluent, but I'm shorter boxer, so obviously more offensive, closed up, middle range, and closer range and shifts. That's my style. Not clean peekaboo. Like peekaboo is way too hard, but some elements maybe of it. I want to learn Savasar. There's no coach who can teach me that style, so I'm learning it by seeing Vivo and many combos of Soviet style and start doing rope jumps very much. I don't know in your area if there's any good coach for it. I suggest you just keep watching what Vivo does. Do it slower. Start doing it slower. One thing you definitely can do yourself is trying to replicate and learn how to repeat people's movement. That's quite a good exercise, by the way. Break it down, go slower, and then gradually increase the pace. Can you make the small tutorial shows for the beginners? I'm absolutely looking forward to it. I already had that request and I'll do it. I promise. Just didn't have time, but I'll try to do that these days, okay? So I'll step like after, hold up, rotate, hook. This one, okay. Well, basically, it's you also need to look when you execute it, right? Because sometimes you just like you do it, but it doesn't make sense because it's the wrong timing. What you would want to do is, for example, defend 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you would do. So it's like basically 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. Like we call it sidestep. I mean, sidestep is basically. Actually, no, you're right. Sidestep is this. So it's like you can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can do side step like that. So stepping the front leg, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and just rotating like this. So you would want to do that in a while doing a defensive footwork. Amateur record, official 5 fights, but I did way more fighting, just like an open ring tournament. The L step is basically walking lateral out of the range. Yeah. A pivot is technically forward. So pivoting is basically this. So you do bump, 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 double pivoting. The L step is more, I guess, a little bit like this. So a lot of southpaws do that. Like they try to like walk outside. But I also assume that this is might be count as the L step as well. But guys, okay, gym is closing up. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you. I responded to most of your questions. And yeah, basically, have a good day, good night. And yeah, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next live stream. And yes, I'll take my time and I'll try to do a simple combo shorts tutorials and start uploading them. So yeah, I'll do my best to do that within the next few days. Okay, thank you very much. Ciao. And I'll see you next live stream. Bye.